Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the completely new Chinese New Year's Black Gold card, the first Synthetic Soul, Lilith. She is going to be a Water Machina card, and I'll be taking a look at her leader skills, team skills, and active skills, and letting you know whether I recommend this card or not. This is after she has been released, so I have been able to try her a little bit. So I will let you know my opinions, but first let's begin with her leader skill. Her leader skill is team attack times 8, HP and recovery times 1.8. Extend runestone movement time regardlessly by 2.5 seconds, and the more types of runestones dissolved, the higher the team attack, to the max of times 4. When the team has 2 or more attributes, the team attack increases by 1.8 additionally. For every 6 runestones dissolved in the first batch, your combo count increases by 1. Just from the get-go, this team or leader skill is already pretty good. You have a times 8 team attack, which is pretty high and pretty standard in the current meta right now. You do get a 1.8 HP and recovery, which will make this team pretty tanky as well, because you are able to slot any races and any attributes in the team. You can see here she does not have any race or attribute restrictions, so you can add any characters you want and increase your HP like that, for example adding Nidhogg or any high HP cards as well. When the team has 2 attributes, you also get 1.8 attack additionally, so this is going to increase your damage multiplier even further, and by dissolving more runestones you get a max of times 4, which brings her total damage output and leader attack multiplier to pretty high levels and pretty good levels in the current meta as well. Additionally, she gets a combo count increase for every 6 runestones dissolved, so if you are able to dissolve the entire batch, you are going to get a plus 5 combo count, 6 times 5, 30. There are 30 runestones in the first batch, so you do get a plus 5, and this does not account for any sky drops that you might get, so in reality you might be able to get more than plus 5 combos. This is going to be great because if Method introduces more high combo shields, you are able to break those easily without having to rely on any team members and utility cards. So as a whole, I think the leader skill is pretty good, but now let's take a look at the team skills, which is going to be a giant paragraph, so bear with me here. If there is Lilith in the team, Lilith will get her Soul Merging mode and Resonance mode. This is going to be the core of her gameplay, and this is also what is going to make her a really good card in my opinion. So now let's take a look. Whenever she is leader and ally, the first Synthetic Soul Lilith as both leader and ally, this is going to be additional team skills to complement her leader skills. After entering the stage, fuel of all Machinas increases to 100%. Absorb the attack damage and damage received from boss skills that deduct specific HP percent, like Bloody Scythe, from the second attack onward, and launch an attribute effective counterattack as much as the absorbed attack to enemies. I will come back to that and explain it a little bit better. All runestones possess the effect of heart runes and runestones of the Machina's attributes in the team. Runestone movement time will not be stopped when touching electrified runes. Burning and sticky are nullified. When character runestones are triggered and the last runestone ends in the column below the first Synthetic Soul Lilith, skill CD of that Lilith will be reduced by 1. According to the last runestone pick to end moving, the first batch of runestones to be dropped will be enchanted runestones of that type. By dissolving a group or more of 10 or more runestones, fully recover your HP. You also acquire data calculation ability, which is going to be a craft skill. This craft skill will allow you to turn all runestones into enchanted runes, arrange water runes from bottom right to left, and this can be activated by tapping the fully charged apparatus, 1 activation each round, but it does not consume any Dragonary craft charges. Different effects will be granted when Lilith is in either form, so whenever she's in resonance mode, black and white zones will only be limited to the 4 corners, which means that effectively you are countering black and white zones. Attack basic value of the first Synthetic Soul Lilith will be synchronized with that of the highest member, or the member that has the highest attack. And when you're in Soul Merging mode, your team recovery goes to 0, but at the end of the round, the skill cooldown of Lilith will be reduced by 1. Also, when there are 2 or more Machinas in the team, you acquire Machina Dynamics, which is the usual fuel attribute that all Machina have. So that is not necessary to explain because we have already had Machinas for a long time. So now let's take a look at the team skill and dissect it a little bit. Honestly, I think as the leader, her leader skill is already pretty good, but this team skill is going to make her even more busted and definitely going to be a very top tier leader for me. So after entering the stage, fuel of all Machinas increases to 100. This basically counters one of the Machina's weaknesses, which is always a slow ramp up. Usually Machinas, they only are able to launch their maximum damage potential when you get 100% fuel. And if you're running multiple rainbow, different attribute Machinas, acquiring 100% fuel is going to be really hard, and it's going to take at least 3 or 4 rounds, even 6 rounds to get there if you don't have any fuel increasing members. However, Lilith will completely bypass this. You attain 100% fuel from the get-go, which means that all the active skills that use 100% fuel are already good to go from the beginning, and you have also reached your damage potential from the very first round, and you do not have to slowly build up that fuel and waste some rounds like that. So that is already a pretty good team skill, especially for Machina teams. This eliminates the need of building up fuel and also that slow ramp up, and you can launch high damaging attacks from the get-go. The second skill is also really busted. This means that you only receive 1 attack per round from a single enemy. And this is because they damage received from Bloody Scythe, and also like Trojan attacks that launch multiple counter attacks at you, like combo shields or number shields. Those Lilith will only take the first attack and then will absorb the damage received from the second attack onwards. So for example, if you have a 23 number shield enemy and you dissolve 10 combos, that means that the enemy will reflect 13 attacks, right? However, Lilith will only take 1, and all the other 12 attacks will be absorbed and launching a counterattack. What this means is that Lilith is going to be super tanky and also will not be killed by these annoying enemies, even if you mess up your spinning for these types of enemies. However, keep in mind that if you don't satisfy the condition, the counterattacks will not damage the enemy. So in the example of the number shield, even if you are launching 13 counterattacks, because you didn't break the number shield, you are not able to deal damage back to the enemy. So keep that in mind, but you are still able to, you should still be able to kill the enemies if you do satisfy that condition. But I think this this team skill is going to be more defensive rather than offensive. Like yes, you can launch counter attacks whenever the enemy attacks you a lot, but in my personal experience, this is more useful whenever you use it to defend yourself from multiple attack enemies, and that way you can mess up your spin and be a little bit safer when facing these types of enemy skills. Next, we have all runestones possess the effect of heart runes and runestones of Machina's attributes, so this allows you to run a rainbow team as well as have a reliable recovery. Since you are getting that 1.8 recovery boost, and also all runestones act like heart runes, this is going to allow you to recover very easily. Electrified, burning, and sticky are basically nullified with this team, so you don't have to worry about these enemy skills, and you don't have to bring any utility cards or team members to deal with them. And that is really powerful because you can bring other team members in your team that can counter other things or boost your damage. When character runestone is triggered, you do get a CD -1 for that Lilith, and reducing your CD is also really good because you can activate them faster, and Lilith's active skill is pretty good, so being able to reduce Lilith's cooldown by 1 is going to be really powerful as well. Next, this one I think is going to be a really good team skill as well. The last runestone pick to end moving. Basically, the runestone you finish with, and the reason they worded this way is because on Time Tunnel, when you activate Time Tunnel skills, you are able to move different types of runestones. So the last one that you move will be the one counted. In normal spinning, the one that you pick up is the last one that you move, but Basically, what it happens is that that runestone will be sky dropped or guaranteed sky drop in the first batch with Lilith. No, no questions asked, basically. And this is going to be really powerful. One, because we have the leader skill that increases your combo count by 1 for every 6 runes. So if you dissolve all 30 runes, you get a 30 rune sky drop, which is an extra +5 combo, and then you are going to get a +10 combo overall. And this also gives you a giant chunk of attacking runes or a giant chunk of heart runes that can heal you, depending on what you need for that round. And having the flexibility of choosing which rune you want to drop is also really powerful, because if you're missing a rune for Quintet Elemental Shield or Quartet Elemental Shield, you can still break those even if you're missing some of those attributes by forcing the sky drop to be that type of runestone. Additionally, if you dissolve a group or more of 10 or more runestones, which that sky drop will help you with, as long as you dissolve all of them in the same area, you only need to dissolve like 4 combos to get 12. You can fully recover your HP. So even if you are in soul merging mode where your team recovery is 0, you are still able to recover your HP. And needless to say, being able to fully recover your HP without the need of active skills is going to be really powerful. And this is one of the reasons why Tsuyo was so good as well, is because if you end your round on the edges, you fully recover your HP. And because of that, you were able to stall and survive a lot of enemies that normal teams wouldn't be able to. For example, your recovery gets reduced by 99%. You just go to the sides and you fully recover your HP. For Lilith, it is going to be a little bit harder because you have to dissolve 10 or more runestones, but the benefit still stands that if your recovery gets reduced to 0 and your HP is very low, you can still fully recover your HP without having to activate any active skills, and this is really powerful against certain enemies in the game, especially the really annoying ones. I'm thinking about the Loki that gave you golden chains, reduced your HP to 1, and recovery minus 99%. Those type of enemy skills basically kills any team unless you can fully recover your HP without relying on active skills. So basically Tsuyo and now Lilith. But yeah, you also acquire a craft skill, and like I said before, it does not consume a craft charge, which means that as long as you can build your craft up, you are able to activate it consistently every round. You can only activate it once a round, but you can activate it multiple times across rounds. And this is also going to be not busted. Like the energy tank from the Rockman series, that craft skill is pretty good, but this one's not bad as well. Turn all the runestones into enchanted runes. You can break enchanted shields, enchanted quintet elemental shields, but arranging water runestones from bottom right to left will give you a better chance to dissolve. One, dissolve a lot of runes to guarantee more sky drop. Two, you could potentially already hit the 10 group of runestones. And 3, it also gives you an easier time spinning because you already have a nice group aligned, which means you only have to focus on the rest of the board. And that can give you higher combos, better sky drops, and a higher damage output. Next, we have the 2 modes of Lilith, Resonance Mode and Soul Merging Mode. Basically, Resonance Mode will increase your attack by a lot depending on your team members. So if you bring a combined monster, so for example you combine Lui Bu and the companion, the corpse, to get the other Lui Bu combined skill, Lilith's attack will synchronize with that and be really high, because I think, if my memory serves me correctly, that Lui Bu combined monster is one of the highest attacking members in the game, which means that you can boost your attack by a lot by giving that attack to Lilith if she is in resonance mode. Also, getting rid of black and white zones, not super needed, but it can get annoying sometimes. But in my opinion, black and white doesn't bother me too much, but being able to counter it will be pretty good and allow you to spin better as well. In the other hand, soul merging mode, team recovery becomes 0, but it's not big of an issue because Lilith can recover all her HP with a group of 10 runes or more. But at the end of the round, your skill cooldown of Lilith will be reduced by 1. And again, this is the way you change modes, and also her active skill is not that bad. So reducing her active skill by a lot allows you to activate it faster and also have an easier time, because active skills do help a lot in certain stages. But yeah, so that was a giant paragraph of her team skill, and honestly, this is going to be a really good leader with a really good team skill as well. So first of all, she has a lot of damage multipliers, so times 8, pretty standard. However, she gets a times 4 by dissolving more types of runestones, and a times 1.8 if you have 2 or more attributes in the team. And this 2 or more attributes in the team is not a hard condition, and it is a condition that is permanent. So as long as you have 2 or more attributes when you enter the stage, you will be able to benefit from this 1.8 unconditionally. That's going to be really good. And you can also guarantee to get this the more types of runestones dissolved, because you can guarantee sky drops of whatever runes you were not able to dissolve. So for example, if there's a light combo nullifying enemy where you cannot dissolve light runes in the first batch, you can pick up the light runes and force light runes to be the sky drop, and then you can still fulfill the different types of runestones requirements to get the max multiplier for this attack, at this max attack multiplier. So overall, her leader skill will give you a lot of attacking multiplier, and her team skills has a lot of utility that can help you break a lot of shields in the game. And not shields, but a lot of enemy skills in the game. So first of all, you can ignore number shields. Well, you can't ignore them, but you will not suffer if you encounter a number shield or a Trojan or combo nullifying, things like that. You are not that afraid because Lilith will nullify the second attack onwards, and that is going to be really good. She also ignores electrify runes, ignores burning runes, ignores sticky runes, and you also recover HP and guarantee skydrop. So all those are going to be a lot of utility built into her kit already, which frees up 4 different slots for other shield breaking potential and more utility in your team, or damage boosters to launch even bigger attacks. So overall, I think her team skill complements her leader skill really well, because it does help her achieve higher combos. It also helps her achieve the different runestones, but also allows you to recover HP and also be more tanky as well. So overall, I think she is a really, really good leader, and probably one of the best leaders out there in terms of just her leader skill and team skill. She is also not locked to any race or any attributes. You do want to run her with at least 2 machinas, and depending on your needs, more attributes of machinas to get that runestone possession effect. But she is free to add any monsters or any cards in the team, and that gives her a lot of flexibility. But yeah, now let's take a look at her active skills. She has 2 active skills. The first one is CD6 and has the effect, the following effect. You can select either soul merging mode or resonance mode, and Lilith will transform into this mode. And the difference between the modes is going to be highlighted here in the team skills. And this is basically the way you are able to change modes. And because it is CD6, you want to be able to reduce the cooldown so that you can switch modes whenever you want. But basically, when you choose soul merging mode, you explode all runestones to generate 5 runestones of every type, which is going to be really good. Gives you a fixed board and also gets rid of a lot of board debuffs. Not that you really need to get rid of them because burning, sticky, and electrified are countered, but it can get rid of weaken, muck runes, weather runes, as well as frozen runes by exploding them. However, if you choose resonance mode, Lilith will remove all runestones to generate enchanted runestones, again 5 of each type. And this is also more powerful because it can remove condensed runes, petrified runes, it can remove fully frozen runes, and also runes that are not able to be exploded. So these are really good for those teams, and also really good to counter the grid, the new green grid enemy skill, because you are not able to explode runestones on the grid, but you are able to remove them. However, the downside is that you have to enter resonance mode, which resonance mode is going to be... Actually, no. Never mind. Resonance mode is the attacking, the offensive mode. So being able to do that and increase your attack is going to be great. While soul merging mode is going to be the defensive mode, and that is going to... so, yeah. I think this is really good because you do want to be able to remove all runestones whenever you want to attack. Because that's when you want to make sure that the enemy dies and get rid of all the board debuffs that you can. But yeah, overall, I think her first active skill is pretty good. It only works well in terms of using Lilith as a leader. As a member, I don't think this is going to be that great of a skill. It is a fixed convert, but it does not break any shields, and it does not have any added utility other than generating attacking runes and exploding annoying runes. However, for Lilith as a leader, this is going to be indispensable and really useful for her kit, and definitely worth having the cooldown reduction from her team skill so that you can activate it whenever you want. Now let's take a look at her second active skill. It is also CD6. Restore all cracked positions, restore all runestones to normal state, modify all runestones to become Machina runestones, deal 50 million water damage to all enemies 4 times, and for 1 round, damage will be dealt regardless of defense, equal combo shield, enchanted runestone shield, and fixed combo shield. So, basically, whatever skills that her team skill did not counter, it is basically covered by this second active skill. And CD6 is going to be also pretty short, and that is going to be absolutely insane. The only things that you're not covered are basically Puzzle Shield and Initial Shield, which crafts exist and they can counter these 2 shields. Basically, you can bring any team member that you want, and Lilith herself will already counter most of the enemy skills in the game. Crack positions, countered. Any board debuffs, frozen runes, condensed runes, petrify runes, they are restored to normal state with her second active skill. Modifying all runestones to Machina runestones, that's okay. 50 million water damage, 1, that is a lot of water damage, that is going to be 200 million, and that is the highest snipe in the game. However, as a snipe, it can also get rid of stealth shield, so you get rid of those. Could potentially get rid of minion shield because of the snipe will kill the enemies on the side, allowing you to attack the middle one afterwards. Defense is broken. Equal combo shield is broken. Enchanted runestone shield broken. Fixed combo shield also broken by Lilith alone. So that only leaves puzzle shield and initial shield, and all other shields are taken care of or countered by her team skill and her active skill. So, oh my god, this card. But yeah, needless to say, this second active skill is going to be really good, and also really good for any other teams that you want to run. Any team that can have Lilith, this second active skill is going to be amazing just because of the sheer amount of enemy skill that it counters. Like I said, it counters cracked, it refreshes, it deals a snipe, it also damage will be dealt regardless of all these shields, and it's not just her, it's the entire team's damage will be dealt regardless of these shields. So as a member, this is going to be a very good utility card. It covers a lot of things, and it is definitely going to see a lot of play in the future as well, just because of the sheer utility that it has. For Lilith herself, this is also great because it complements all the shields that she is able to break by her team skill. She can break with the active skill. So yeah, this card, oh man, this card has a lot going on for her, and in my opinion, she is a great leader and her active skills are pretty good. Her first active skill is is going to be core to her gameplay just because of the mode switching. However, as a member skill, it's not that great, but her second active skill is amazing and really broken just because of the number of shields it breaks. And that means that if you're able to put her in other teams, she is going to bring a lot of utility because it's going to free up different slots in your team for more damage boosting and other utility, since she can cover a lot of the annoying enemy skills by herself. So, final opinions on this card. Really busted. Really busted active skill. I think this is the first time we have an active skill that breaks so many shields at once, which honestly it's a little bit scary because Mad Hit can include more enemies, but this also means that power creep is going to become really scary because now every black gold card is going to be expected to have something like this, and that might be a good decision or might not be a bad, or I don't know. But yeah, that's a scary thought to have. However, I do think she is really powerful with her active skills, and as a leader, I think she is very strong and is going to be one of the strongest leaders out there in the current meta, just because of her team skills as well as her active skills and her ability to have multiple races and multiple attributes in the team. Her only downside is going to be that she cannot run mono water because her team skill asks for 2 or more attributes. That being said, if you don't mind losing out on the 1.8 attack multiplier, you can still use her as a mono water leader and clear mono water achievements that way. However, I do think that achievements are a little bit less important now because Nightmare stages and Ultimate stages, the 3-star achievement reward is just orbs rather than crafts, and you can obtain orbs by decomposing other cards and things like that. So orbs are not that needed in my opinion. So that 3-star achievement isn't that much of a need nowadays in my opinion. So not being able to clear water achievement, that is fine for me as well. So finally, do I recommend pulling for this card? This is the first time I'm going to go ahead and say that yes, this card is definitely worth getting. This is because she is a really powerful leader and she can break a lot of shields, but as a member she's also really good. If you think about it, last year we had Tsuyo, and up until now people still use Tsuyo, and whoever didn't get Tsuyo was always spending the entire year like, oh my god, I wish I had Tsuyo, I wish I had Tsuyo. Same thing happened with Ingzhen when he got released during New Year's. Shoot, when was that, 2-3 years ago? People also really used Ingzhen a lot, and a lot of the team clears was Ingzhen, and now last year a lot of clears was Tsuyo, Tsuyo, Tsuyo. And if you missed out on Tsuyo, you missed out for the entire year. I have a feeling that Lilith is going to be similar, where now that achievements don't really matter, in my opinion, like I said before, she is going to be very useful to clear a lot of the content in the game and a lot of ultimate stages that come out, including calamitous stages, story stages, nightmare stages, and everything like that. And I feel like because she is so strong and she is the New Year's Black Gold card, I think she will see play for the rest of the year, and you will be able to get use out of her if you have her in your team. That being said, again, this is a game. Please keep into account your financial well-being first. If you don't have the resources to pull for her, it is just a game, so don't worry about getting her. But if you do have the resources, I do recommend pulling for her. People might say, oh, save your diamonds for the next collaboration, your next black gold card and things like that. But that is going to be true for all gacha games. There is always going to be a unit that's more powerful in the future. But if you save your diamonds until the perfect unit comes out or the perfect card comes out, it is still going to be power crept in the future as well. So I do feel like Lilith is going to be a good choice of a black gold card to pull, because she, in my opinion, I do think she is going to see play for the rest of the year and you might get a lot of utility out of it. Unlike some of the previous collaboration cards or previous jackpot cards that Madhead has released, like Randena, which I don't think I've seen anyone use Randena yet, but he is a 1% jackpot card that died off pretty quickly. And for collaboration cards also, each collaboration gets better. So if you miss one collaboration, you can still get better cards the next collaboration. However, Lilith, I do think most of her use will be this year. She will be power crept next year, but next year we'll have another New Year's Black Gold card. So in my opinion, my final thoughts is prioritize your financial well-being first. Do not spend money if you don't want to, or if you don't have the resources to get Lilith. But if you do have the resources, I do recommend getting her because she is a good leader. She has an amazing active skill, and honestly, she is the best water leader out there now, because water attribute really needs some love right now. And she is going to fulfill that role pretty easily. Also, Makina cards, we haven't gotten one in a while, so it is nice to have a water Makina card again in the game. But yeah, in my thoughts, overall, good leader, good active skill, worth pulling. If you get lucky and you get more than one, or if you get one early, do I recommend getting a second one? Yes and no, because one, leader and ally is already good enough. You can activate her active skill twice, and you can also reduce her cooldown easily with her soul resonance mode and also the character runestones. So having more than one, the only benefit that you get is that if they're all in resonance mode, they will all synchronize to the highest attribute in the team, or highest attack in the team. But honestly, if you bring another damage boosting card, for example Yoko or the Fire Javanor, that can even give you a better boost rather than having two Liliths in the team. So I think one is enough. I personally only got one, and I think I'm going to stick with just one. I am not pulling 80 more times for her, but I think one is good. If you want two, I think it'll still be fine, because you can, all Liliths benefit from the resonance mode and also the soul merging mode. But I think there are other cards that you can use in the team that can compensate for the additional damage output from a second Lilith. But yeah, that is all I wanted to say about this card. Thank you for staying with me for such a long video. But yeah, as always, if I said anything wrong or if I missed out on anything, please let me know in the comment sections. And as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone!